Hey guys, and welcome to a new edition of News Bytes. This is my catch up of tech news from the last week, so let's get into it. Right, so straight in, a couple of announcements from Intel, and they are playing catch up to AMD at the moment, but if you're holding out for the Rocket Lake S CPU range, then make a note in your diary. March the 30th is the global launch date for that CPU. Obviously, previous News Bytes episodes I have talked about a couple of the performance improvements that they've got over AMD, and I think it'd be interesting to see really how well that platform performs in the marketplace against AMD. So, there's been plenty of leaks with regards to performance on it and pricing and details like that. Are you going to get one of these? Are you going to jump ship from AMD to Intel? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. I'd be really interested to find out. So the other announcement was that they are dropping their performance tuning protection plan, which I'm not surprised if you've never heard of that. Not a lot of people will be aware of it, but basically for a small fee, I think something like £30, something like that, you could protect yourself against overclocking your Intel CPU. And they've had this for kind of like the last 10 years. Something around that length of time, and basically what happened would be is that you pay this £30 when you bought your CPU, and if you push it too hard and end up killing the CPU, then Intel would give you a free replacement. And never something I actually took out myself, but I can understand why they're dropping it as a add-on to their CPUs. When you look at CPUs in general over the last 10 years, performance has come along, base performance has come along massively compared to what it was. So less demand for people to actually overclock their systems out the box. Also, things like, the motherboard BIOSes, lots of them have these one-click performance overclocking features on them now that will safely overclock your CPU. Previously, you had to go into all kinds of parameters, and it was very easy to cause some damage there. So, I'm not surprised they're dropping it, but for those extreme clockers, it's just something to be aware of because you haven't got that protection to fall back on anymore. Now, a couple of product announcements, and the first one is from Samsung. So this is the 980 series. They've got these NVMe drives, and the 980 Pro is a PCIe 4 drive, but they're coming out with a 980, so a non-pro version, obviously aimed at a specific budget, and this is a PCIe 3 drive, so slower performance, be roughly probably slightly less than half the performance of the other drive. I think the crucial thing on this though is that it has no DRAM cache on it, so definitely be interesting to see what performance figures are like for that drive. It's definitely going to take a bit of a hit because NAND memory is slower than the DRAM cache, and I can see maybe where they're coming from with this. If you certainly have one of the newer platforms, perhaps maybe what you do is you put a 980 Pro in the primary M.2 slot, and then in your secondary slot you have a non-pro version. And that's where you store all your games and stuff like that. So that's how I could see it working. But I think for a bog standard drive, it's potentially not going to be that fantastic. It is using MLC technology, memory technology. So link up above if you want to watch the video where I talk about all of that kind of stuff. But it's a budget drive really, and it does come with Samsung's excellent 5-year warranty and everything, so it'll fit in somewhere. But if it were me building a system, that's how I would probably do it. I'd probably have the Pro in the primary slot and the non-Pro in the secondary slot. And news from Elgato, so never short of an interesting product to come out. These guys, they've actually come out with 2 products, and this is really geared towards the content creators out there, I suppose, YouTubers, streamers, all that kind of stuff, or if you're just doing your own media stuff at home or something like that. 2 very interesting products, not really unique in the marketplace, I guess. One of them is the wave panel system. So these are acoustic panels that you can slap on your wall to help with your audio when you're recording. And you know, you can get these fairly cheap off Amazon. You can get boxes of them for, you know, a reasonable amount of money. Theirs is going to cost about £120 for a 6-panel starter kit. But what I really like about this is the mounting system that they've got. So whereas the other panels, the cheaper ones, will just be the foam that you've got to stick on the wall, and then when you take them off you can take half the wall with you. These have a proper framing and mounting kit with them, so just a little bit more kind of like professional in the approach to it. And yeah, you know, 6 panels for £120 is quite expensive, but you get what you pay for. So the other product that was announced by Elgato was the light strip, and it's basically just an LED strip really, but obviously a lot higher quality than say the £20 ones you can get off Amazon. It's, from what I can tell, it's about £60 for a 2-meter strip, very high quality LEDs on them, very, very bright, full RGB, control it with your mobile app, super strong sticky backing on it and all that kind of stuff. But I think one of the noticeable things, you know, you're probably thinking, yeah, £60 for 2 meters, I can pay £20 for 5 meters. Certainly if you're, you know, recording in front of a camera or anything like that, you know, if you've got cheap light strips in the background, one of the things that you actually notice is the flickering from them. And yeah, it's not great. And obviously Elgato's, you know, launching these 2 products to kind of help people get a bit more of a professional looking appearance onto their YouTube channels, or, you know, their Twitch channels or whatever. So expensive, but, you know, as with the Wave panels, you know, you get what you pay for really. So links for all of these products, guys, they'll be down below in the description if you're interested. And finally, so as a Virgin Media broadband user in the UK, I thought this article was quite interesting. I apologise to anybody else around the world who might be watching this where it just doesn't make sense. But Virgin Media have been trialling their 400 gigabits per second fibre optic broadband. So this is over a single connection, this. And they did this in Reading, where they do quite a lot of the broadband trials down there. And really interesting. You know, obviously in the UK they're trying to roll out as many places as possible their 1 gig connection. So 400 gigabits per second is quite the way off really, I think, on the network. But the fundamental, you know, key point on this was that it just seamlessly worked with the network. It just kind of plugged in and just worked. Which, you know, anybody who's a Virgin Media user will know. You know, they've spent many years upgrading their entire network across the UK for various reasons, but mainly to support forward performance and speeds and things like that. So it'd be really interesting to see when this comes out. I think it's going to be a long time yet. I haven't even got my 1 gig yet, so, you know, to be offered 400 gigabits per second, I think is a long way off yet. But really interesting that, you know, what they've put in place so far can have this single addition, and it just worked. Whether the entire network, when, you know, they've got lots of users on this kind of service, would actually support that is an entirely different matter. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd be really interested on your thoughts on some of the things that I talked about today. You know, drop them down below in the comments if you've got anything to say about them. But as always, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, then hit that like button. And you know, if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, why not? You know, hit that button and subscribe as well. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.